Rudnik. Hi, buddy. Sounds like you got into a little scuffle, did you? Hi. I brought you carrots. Go get your brush. Hi. Hello. Yeah, how are you?
I think Melanie might be in heat.
Okay.
Or easy because I've
Yeah.
been hearing a lot of squealing. But so far,
Sorry you don't have all the parts for it, dude.
Today, I pulled her out yesterday. I was like, you know what,
Yeah.
be a wiener.
The fun part of girls. Right?
But like him and Mayo were in yesterday.
Yeah.
And they were fine.
Oh yeah, I saw them laying down together. It was good.
Yeah. And then I like just put her in like half an hour ago because I was like, I'm gonna do it while I'm up here.
Yeah. He's a little flinchy around her, I noticed. If she comes close, he's like, hold on.
Yeah.
But yeah, they seem they're doing fine.
The only thing that worried me was this Marco's teeth. This one here.
Oh yeah.
But he seems like he's been letting me kind of like.
He's used to it. He gets himself into many situations.
So, it's funny because like I could never have her in with other horses because she was the one that would be.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder if she's just gonna fall in with
Oh yeah. He just takes it. It's like a punching bag.
Like I went in there once because I came out at lunch, everything was fine, and then I came out at like 3, and I saw him and I went, oh no, and immediately just went in there, and I was looking him over and he was fine, and she walks over and just like turns her ass into him, and I was like, no,
Excuse me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, at one of the last places we were at, he was in a herd of like 20 horses, and she had told me that, oh yeah, I keep the geldings and mares separate and everything. And then she decided that she was gonna like, oh sorry, I can't do that. She was gonna suddenly just throw the mares into the geldings after all. And he was just like fight after fight after fight, because then the boys start getting possessive. And I'm like, he's used to the drama that comes with girls.
I was hoping to find comedy. Thank you, Maisie.
I mean, it's happening for the first time now after how long?
Yeah.
It could be worse. It's amazing how clean they can wash their hair right after shooting.
It's crazy. Well, I was worried because like she has sliders on and they stick out.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you're gonna be being a turd, like you can be by yourself. I don't want him or anybody getting punctured by her.
Well, I don't want him being here to be causing issues with
it's not him.
his presence.
It is not him.
Big teddy bear.
We have so much like space too that I'm like, if you need to be by yourself, you can go be by yourself,
Yeah.
Maisie. Like him
Don't
and
stick up
Mayo could be together.
Yeah. Yeah. He has no problem telling her where to go. Just don't do it with your teeth. You don't like it when they do it to you, you can't do it to others. And then sometimes it's like it just like cuts the hair clean, and I'm like, how do they do that? Their teeth.
This is sorry. She said she's they're kind of talking. All right. Well, enjoy your horse.
Thank you. Can you get beat up? That's okay. That's what happens when girlies are in heat. I know, you're always the one getting beat up. That's kind of what happens when you're with girls. You're a little bit dramatic. So usually once a year, around this time every year, I have to kind of give a little explanation to our new followers as to why Rudnik does not wear a blanket. We start seeing a lot of comments, especially in the winter, about how I'm being neglectful or cruel because I don't put Rudnik in a blanket. When in reality, all you have to do is ask nicely, and I will gladly explain. Horses, unless they're sick or struggling to put on weight or older or clipped for showing, do not need to wear a blanket. They don't, because their natural thick fur grows in thick enough that it more than keeps them warm through the winter. So for a horse like Rudnik, who's very healthy, young, has no problem gaining weight, quite the opposite actually, putting a blanket on him would actually be more detrimental to his health than just leaving him in his natural coat to stay warm. So because Rudnik has a full plush winter coat, if I were to throw a blanket on him, it would actually cause him to overheat. So what happens, especially in our climate, because we could have -10 degrees Celsius one day and the next day could be +10. So if I were to throw a blanket on Rudnik, obviously you could take it off, put it back on again as needed, but what would happen is because he has so much fur, he would actually start overheating, and it would cause him to sweat underneath the winter blanket, because winter blankets are actually, they're very thick. So it's meant to replace their natural coat. It's not meant to be added on top of it. So blanketing a horse like Rudnik, who has no problem keeping himself warm, would cause him to sweat, he'd overheat, the sweat would then freeze, and it would basically cause a whole bunch of health problems with that. He could hypothermic, everything like that. So maybe it might look better to have a blanket on him. It's not going to be better for him, right? So, and because he's able to grow his own very thick, plush, natural coat. And so if I were to throw a blanket on him just because I think he might be cold, I'm actually going to stunt the growth of that natural coat. And then it's going to get to the point where I have to blanket him because he's not able to keep himself warm naturally anymore. Now, if he were to suddenly show signs that he was losing weight, he was shivering, he was constantly wet, absolutely reasons to put a blanket on him. Because through the winter, they are going to burn a lot of energy keeping themselves warm, which is why you usually want them a little heavier going into the winter as well. Yeah, which Rudnik has no issue or problems gaining weight, so that's not a concern. But their coats are actually super thick. There's multiple layers to them, and I know I post this video every year, and I'm probably going to have to keep posting it every year because our following continues to grow, and we get a lot of followers who don't own horses themselves, haven't been around horses, or live in an environment where every horse that they see is blanketed because maybe it's a show area or something like that. So if Rudnik was clipped, which is where you go and you shave their natural coat down, absolutely he'd need a blanket. If he was old and needed his energy for other things through the winter, absolutely throw him in a blanket. But right now he's young, he's healthy, he's super thick coat, so there's no need to blanket him because we don't need him overheating. We don't need to cause issues with the way his natural coat grows. So I'm actually going to show you. So his coat is super thick and plush. Like, that is a very thick coat. He's got his natural undercoat, he's got the overcoat as well, and he just gets, like, he'll even get more plush through the winter as we go. And if you've ever been around horses, if you put your hand under their mane, if you just put your hand into their fur, you can feel how warm they are. So there's really, if I were to throw a blanket on him, it would be causing a lot more harm than good. And just because of how thick, how plush and soft and like velvety and thick and everything it is, there's really no need to be throwing a blanket on there, right? Plus, knowing Rudnik, he'd probably just get himself tangled up and injured more than anything if he had a blanket on. So one thing I always like to tell people, if you ever drive past a field of horses and the horses are outside and it's snowing outside and you see them all standing out there with no blankets, you feel sad for them. They're covered in snow and you feel like, well, if I'm cold, they're cold. Now, key point here is covered in snow. If you drive past horses that are outside and it's snowing and you see, like, sometimes you'll see probably a good few inches of snow sitting on their back, and it's just sitting there, white fluffy snow, that's actually a good thing. So if the snow is sitting on their back like that and it's not melting, it means their body's able to keep the heat locked in that they need to stay warm. So it means that all their heat is staying in, they're keeping themselves warm. And if you were to drive past and see, you know, the snow was melting on their back, the horses are wet, they're shivering, it means that their body's actually not insulating that heat the way it should be. That heat is escaping, it's melting the snow on their back, it's causing the snow to melt and seep into their fur and get them wet. And that's when you have issues and problems that you probably want to address and start looking at blanketing them. But right now Rudnik does not have an issue with that. I have never put a blanket on him unless it's like just like a cooling rug after a run in the cold weather. It just helps absorb all the moisture so they don't freeze. But as far as blanketing him in this colder weather right now, absolutely unnecessary. I do own horse blankets if I did have to blanket him, but so far in the, I think this is the 7th year I've had him now, there's just never been a reason to. We're gonna encourage his natural coat to grow plush and thick as it's needed. If the time ever comes where I feel he needs a blanket, absolutely I'll blanket him. But that time is not right now, so don't feel bad if you see horses that are not blanketed. It's actually not as common, like I said, unless they're old. They struggle with keeping weight on. They're showing, so they're clipped. They don't have that natural thick coat. There's a plethora of reasons why someone might decide to blanket their horse, and that's fine. Everybody can do things their own way. Everybody's got a right to their own opinion and how they do things, but this is simply why I don't blanket my horse and why he's simply never had a need to be blanketed, right? There you go. But it seems like one of the mares has been in heat the last few days, so it's kind of created a little bit of tension in the herd, which is fine. It's just the way it is. Living with mares, there's kind of always that risk of, you know, hormones. So Rudnik was unfortunately on the other end of a couple of nips, but no broken skin, no injuries that we need to be concerned about, kind of just a couple bald spots. But definitely nothing as bad as what he's experienced in recent places or previous places, so okay. And honestly, it doesn't matter how long horses have lived together. I bring up the situation many times, but it's a good example. He was with his one herd for 3.5 years and was still getting beat up by some of the boys there. So it's the way it is. It's how they communicate with each other. Their mouth is, they use it to bite, they use it to talk. And we had horses basically most of my life growing up, and even they would get into it sometimes. And they have been together for 10+ years. So it's just part of owning horses. You can't avoid it. It's very rare to be in a situation where you're not gonna get a bite here or there, right? But thankfully, if it was like, you know, a situation where one of the horses was consistently going out of their way to attack another horse, obviously that's a whole different situation. But if you acquire a bite mark here and there over the span of a few months, totally normal. Especially when you're living with mares, and especially when those mares are in heat. So Rudnik is used to it at this point. He's lived with enough mares. Over the last couple of years, he knows to just steer clear of them, right? But we do have just a couple of little bald spots. We got one on the neck there, but no broken skin, nothing to be concerned about, no risk of infection. He's might just be a little extra chilly on that spot. Why'd you spit it out? I know, you're starving, aren't you? I'm actually kind of sweating right now. It's not that cold outside. Or I'm just wearing too many layers. No, I haven't had carrots in so long. Okay? Good boy. You get picked on sometimes. He doesn't know how to stand up for himself. He never really has. He's never been the type to fight back. He just kind of says, okay, and walks away. You just get beat on sometimes because you don't really have a spine to stick up for yourself. That's okay. You're still cute. Otherwise, they're still getting along very well. It's, they both clicked very quickly. Rudnik loves his little girlies, even despite the raging hormones that they sometimes have. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more. Maybe I'll give you the biggest one. Look at this one. This is a big one. This is a big one. You gotta take a little bites though. Don't try to take the whole thing in one go, dude. Just take a little bite. There you go. There. See? You're gonna choke if you try to eat that whole thing in one bite. What are you gonna do if I take a bite? That's yummy. Hi. I know. He's like, Mom, get your own carrots. He doesn't like sharing. You don't like sharing. You don't like sharing, do you? Not your carrots, anyways. Okay, you gotta eat. Swallow those before I give you this one, because this is a big piece. Maybe I'll try to break it up, actually. Hey! Excuse you. I'm almost done. There. I just want to split it up so you're not choking on it. There we go. See? I just need smaller pieces. Okay. I gotta get going, okay? You behave. Try not to kick any of the girls off again. I know that doesn't take much to do. Okay, bud. Fine, I'll give you one more. Be good. Everybody play nice. Make good choices. Rudnik, steer clear of the girl teeth. Hey, I'll see you soon, okay?